So my name is Simon Gathai from IIT Mombasa. So I'll be taking you through the topic of computer essential life skills. I can see a lot of a similarity on my topic from the earlier presenters. So most of these skills that we're going to cover here, most of them have been covered by Samson and Alex as well. So you can just maybe hear them on a different perspective. So what is a life skill? So we can say that life skills are skills that enables individuals to adapt and cope with the demands and the challenges of life. So you can say every individual has a list of skills that they consider very essential in their life that enhance them to have a better career, a good career. And we're going to have a list of these skills as listed here on this presentation. So the first skill that we're going to have a look at is the creative thinking. So creative thinking, we can say that it's actually thinking outside the box. And you can also see that it's ability to think realistically and also trying to understand the logic that is actually connecting different ideas. If I do this will happen. So like from this, you actually a critical thinker. So it also enhances the productivity of individuals and organizations. Remember, in most cases, organizations normally deal with life problems out there. And now for the individuals who are in the organizations, they have to be critical thinkers so that they can be able to handle some of these critical issues that are maybe brought by customers, and just to ensure that they can be able to get solutions. Now, in today's era, creative thinkers are highly valued, and according to a research by the Creative Group, the top areas for creative hiring include one is creative development. We have digital marketing. For example, for the creative development, we have scenarios whereby, like for example, in IT, if you're a software developer, in most cases, you have to be very creative. Um, if, for example, you're a graphic designer, if you're in film industry, like in most of the disciplines, we have a lot of creativity being involved. In digital marketing as well, creative thinking is included as well. Social media and marketing strategies, user interface and interaction design. We also have got web and mobile development and also visual design. So all these and other areas that we have not mentioned here, they require people who are actually critical or creative thinkers, people who can be able to come up with a solution when there is a challenge. So we can link now the critical thinking with the creative thinking, and this involves the ability to analyze information and experiences objectively. So this contributes to personal development and also growth by helping individuals identify and also assess the factors that influences attitude and behavior. This could be as a result of values, some peer pressure, some media influences, and at some point, this can result to critical thinking. So critical thinking enhances you to think critically, come up with, make a decision based on not how you feel, but a couple of circumstances. If you do this, it is going to bring a lot of repercussions, or there will be a lot of outcomes from that decision that you're going to make. So you have to think critically. You have to ensure that you base your logics on so many things. So, like in the field of technology, in most cases, you have to be a critical thinker. Remember, like for example, internet links are also a lot of infrastructures, IT infrastructure. Like the servers are connected to the network. Softwares are also enhanced, or are they actually accessed from these servers? So, for example, someone who is solving a small problem from the server, at some point it can escalate and bring down very many services. So you have to think critically and see, if I tamper with this, is it going to affect the other critical components in the network? So that's just an example that I'm trying to introduce of how you can be able to introduce critical thinking, especially in your area of field. Then you've got a decision making. There's again another life essential skill that we need to have. So this one is very good when it comes to making decisions. It teaches us how to make decisions depending again on the situation and the current conditions. So decision making skills include creative thinking. A minute. So decision making skills include creative thinking, focusing, setting prioritization, and also time management. So we can say that when you're making a decision, it's not just something that is abrupt, it is a step-by-step process that will help you make more thoughtful and relevant decisions. So this method increases the chances that you will make the right decision. Like for example, you need to have these procedures with you before you make a decision. Number one, identify the decision. This is what I want to do. Now gather some relevant information. Identify some of the alternatives. This will not work. Then I can pick this with the evidence as well. Choose some alternatives as well that you can also choose or use, and then take action. Then also review your decision and its consequences, because every decision that you make, it is attached to very many outcomes. So if you're able to review your decision and also the consequences, it means that the decision that you're making, it is not based on just a narrow perspective, but there is a wider scope of many factors that you're putting or you're actually bringing into consideration. Then there is the empathy. This again a skill that people should possess, and it's just trying to understand and care about other people's needs and their desires and their feelings. So it plays a very important role when we communicate with others. Like for example, without empathy, our communication can just be one way. Remember, you're not listening to the other person, and when there is empathy, you're also able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, and you can be able to understand their situation. So when you're responding to their challenge, or for example, when you are trying to handle their challenge, you'll be able to really have that feeling of what they are going through, and again, what should you be able to recommend them to do, or what would be the solution that you'll be bringing on board to help them. So this life skill will help you improve social interactions, especially in situations of ethnic or even cultural diversity. Remember, we have got we are from different geographical locations. So at some points we are brought up in different cultures, and maybe sometimes you might not be able to understand how different people have been brought up, some of their challenges, but with the empathy, it be able to put ourselves in their situations. And for example, maybe a customer comes, there's a problem that they did, maybe it was the situation is just messy, and you need to come up with a solution. Sometimes you can also put yourself in the same shoes as that customer and feel if it was the one. How would I have been? How would I have wished to be assisted? So that is what we are referring to as empathy. And when we have this, we're able to understand and care about other people, and we're able to give them the best solutions in our different career paths, and even in the society or even in the community at large. Now, communication skills have been spoken earlier by the earlier speakers, and it is still a very critical life essential skill. Now, communication is passing a message from one individual to another. Now, it's very vital because how we express ourselves amongst ourselves, it's very critical. Now, it goes verbally and non-verbally. Sometimes, like what we see sometimes is far much processed faster than the words that we normally listen to. So when we talk of it being verbally and non-verbal, in either way, we are still communicating. Like for example, when you talking to someone, when you have a relaxed face, you're smiling, it creates that friendly atmosphere, and you also create that room for the other person to express well. But if you don't create that, it means the other person cannot also be comfortable maybe communicating with you, because maybe your body language is not at its best. Yeah, so in either way, communication is in both ways. So we need to improve communication skills, which include our active listening. Every moment when someone is talking to you, is always advisable to be a good active listener, because you'll be able to understand. We don't listen to respond, we should listen to understand, and so that we also be able to get the message quite well. There's also the aspect of the public speaking. This is where you talking in front of a couple of people, or maybe in the public. So there's still a way of how you're supposed to communicate to the people, and depending again on the type of audience that you have, again this one also will be able to guide you on how you're going to talk to the audience. Verbal communication is also crucial. So we have different tonations of how we portray our communication. So now this one is guided by the different. It's actually guided by the type of message that we're trying to relay. So, for example, when you're instructing someone, it will vary. When you're asking a question, it will always vary. So that one is also supposed to be done quite well. So when you have a very good verbal communication, you not clash with your customers, you not clash with your fellow colleagues, and at any area, it will be done correctly, and you'll have an easy time on interacting. Then there's also written communication. This includes now the normal SMSs, the normal emails that people communicate with at work. So again, this one should be done perfectly. And with the time, when you have got a very good written communication, it portrays or shows a good picture of how professional you are, and it should be written in a respectful manner. The other person will also respond in a respectful manner. And with this now, it gives the two parties that are communicating with each other to be like we can be able to say that they'll have that freeness. The communication is not harsh, just passing the message, then again ensure that you also responding back to that message. So your good communication skills will help you grow in life, and to be an excellent communicator, you don't need to be excellent with your English speaking. Now, because communication skills and English communication skills are different, you have to learn both of these and improve with the proper communication skills training. So how we perfect our communication skills is by practicing. So you cannot just wake up one day and say that I'm an excellent communication person. Maybe when it comes to public speaking, to active listening, you have to train yourself. At some point, training is also essential, because this one again is a skill that needs to be to be perfected in all the fields. Like a patient who is actually going to the hospital, uh, interacting with a doctor, the doctor have to listen so much to the patient, and the patient also have to actually be attentive to the doctor, because in this case they have to ensure that they are getting the correct details from either party, so that at the end of the day there's a solution that is actually generated from that conversation, and it is done perfectly. Then we've got stress management. Now, stress is that state of unease that we normally experience as human beings. This can be triggered by a couple of things, like maybe wrong beliefs, like I'm not good enough, something is wrong with me. That could be something to do with low self-esteem, and when your body is not in good state, it can cause up to 90% of all illness and diseases. So scientific studies have established that stress is a core factor in mental, physical, and even emotional illness. So effective stress management will help us to be more productive and even happier. So the goal is to have a balanced life, the time for work, relationships, and even having fun. And therefore, when we learn how to manage stress, this is one of the best killer skills that we need to learn, because if you can be able to manage stress, you're solving a lot of your inner problems that you could be passing to other people. And for example, if you're able to address them by yourself, when interacting with other people, you don't have stress, and therefore you can be able to pass that positive energy, because stress again will also lead you to have a lot of negative energy. You don't believe in yourself. um, you feel like everything is against you. But if you're able to handle this, again, you'll be very, very good. So there's again a deeper topic to handle into. Maybe would challenge you to have a look at stress management, some of the ways that you can be able to do to avoid stress, and there are a couple of them. Like for example, maybe engaging yourself into some activities, ensure that you're not idle, and ensure that you're perfecting yourself. If it's like a skill, ensure that you're perfecting it. So this one will handle a lot of your personal problems, and it will boost your self-esteem, and you'll be good. Now, coping with emotions is again another life skill that we should learn, all of us. Now, our feelings are often indicators of our well-being, and developing this life skill will help you eliminate any negative thinking and bring in positive vibes. Now, this can be a dramatically changing skill which we must learn, all of us. At some point, we can talk of this being able to handle emotions. So, emotional intelligence, the ones that have been mentioned by the earlier speakers, is still linked to what we are saying here. If you can be able to learn how to handle emotions, when you're too happy, when you're very sad, how are you supposed to handle that situation? So there's again a very good skill, because it ensures that you're able to balance your energy levels, and you can also be able to interact with the people quite well. Now we have got some interpersonal skills, and these are skills that we use every day when we interact with the people. So they help us connect with the people we interact with, and also help us in our day-to-day life. Now, like for example, there are some people who are born with such skills. However, every one of us can learn to improve and hone these skills with the proper practice. And for example, we have skills like teamwork. There are people who are they can be able to mingle with the people and interact with the people, and they're able to come out with something. Maybe it's a project. They can be able to handle this work individually and also as a team. That's a very good skill. When it comes to communication, as we have mentioned, empathy, negotiation skills, decision-making skills, if when they are merged, all of them, we get something that we refer to as interpersonal skills. You're able to relate well with people, and you can be able to interact with them. And if, for example, when there is a challenge that is supposed to be handled by someone else, you can be able to communicate well, and you can be able to resolve this problem or this challenge and come up with a solution. So when you're talking of interpersonal, it is moving you from an individual level now to someone else, and from there, the more you interact, the more you're able to interact. Now, let's look at an example of a negotiation skill. Now, this is between a buyer, for example, and a seller. You trying to sell something. There's that process of moving a price from a certain figure or a certain number to a certain point. So when you're a buyer and you have got very good negotiation skills, you'll be able to purchase something at a lower price. When again you're a seller, you'll be able to convince the buyer how good that product is. So either way, it is still beneficial. So the negotiation skills are still an example of these interpersonal skills that we are saying that people can be born with, and you can also be able to practice them and you become perfect in them. Then problem solving skills. Now, when we talk of problem solving skills, we can be able to handle or come up with the solutions towards problems by following these steps that we have right here. So number one is analyzing the problem. So this is a problem. The problem has already been presented to you. Then try to see how are you going to handle this. Evaluate the solutions that you can be able to give. Implement a plan after that. Then from there, you need to assess the solution's effectiveness. Will I be able to experience such a similar scenario maybe in the future? And in this case, maybe if we gave an example of a failure in an IT critical infrastructure, there's a switch that keeps on misbehaving every now and then. Maybe you can be able to check if it's iOS operating system, whether it is stable or not. If it keeps on recurring, now you need to intervene and see if you're going to like replace the entire hardware and replace it with another one, or try to come up with some better solutions that will have a long-term effect instead of solving the same problem again and again. So those are called problem solving skills. Again, they are also practiced in all the fields, because our discussion is life essential skills. Does not matter the field that you are in, but these skills will always guide you, and also will also be able to perfect you on how you are solving your day-in-day life challenges. Then you have got self-awareness. It's also called self-actualization. It's a skill that helps us to do self-analysis, and it helps us find and know our strengths, weaknesses, and character. Becoming self-aware again is something that is very, very critical, very, very crucial, because you're able to identify your strengths. These are the areas that I'm actually more powerful. I've got some weaknesses here. My perfect areas are these. I need to improve on these areas. This is how my character is. When I'm triggered, I'm over this temper, I'm slow to anger. Self-awareness, you'll be able to identify some of your inner character, and this takes some time. But if you're able to understand yourself, that's the best thing ever, because when you're approaching now to, or when you're exposed to different conditions or different environments, you understand yourself. You'll be able to know, this is how I'm going to handle myself, because I know myself. This is how I can be able to handle this. This is my level of competence. So when there is a bigger challenge that pops in, you can be able to know how to address it. Or maybe you'll also be able to know, this is what I need to do to handle this. You're self-aware. So this is something that again is very, very critical. And the list is endless. We can continue proceeding with these skills. So for my case, for this presentation, we just have 10 of them, but they are actually, they don't have a limit. You can still proceed looking for more, to continue doing research on this and try to see how you can perfect yourself. These skills are the ones that makes life a bit better. For example, for people who are working, people who are solving problems, also even your own happiness as you perform your day-in-day activities, because these skills are very, very essential. We have like merged them with the earlier topics that were discussed by Samson and Alex, because it's like everything is actually connected to each other. But all of them are supposed to bring the best out of us. So I don't know if anybody has a question, because I've come to the end of my presentation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Simon.
Welcome, Alex.
Actually, it's Dennis.
Oh, it's
But,
Dennis. Oh, sorry,
yeah,
sorry,
so
Dennis.
thank you so much for the presentation. And also the same goes to all the people who are able to present today. This goes a long way in assisting our clients getting to improving their skills, as well as being able to get what we refer to as knowledge that goes hand in hand with the academic knowledge to help them improve. So without further ado, I would like to bring the meeting to an end, for the event to an end, and I would thank you once again and say that this is going to be edited and posted on our Facebook page to ensure that it's available for eternity for all our stakeholders. Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you so much, Samson. Thank you so much, Simon. May you have a good evening. Asante.
Thank you, Dennis.
Bye-bye, Simon.
Bye, bye, bye.